Now, that report comes as the ceasefire between Israel and Iran continues to hold, now going on nearly 48 hours. And it's come with a rare silence from Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. There's been no sight of him online or in person for days. Combine that with the pressure of dissidents and the opposition to rise up against his regime, and major changes could be coming to Iran. Senior national correspondent Brian Inton joins us live in Doha, Qatar. Brian, what does his silence potentially mean for the current regime?
Yeah, it's certainly interesting to think about, Nicole. You would think with all that has happened over the last 24 hours that we would have heard from Iran's supreme leader by now, but that hasn't happened. Not one peep. He has not made a public statement. He hasn't appeared on TV. He is apparently hiding out in a bunker somewhere in Iran. That obviously the location hasn't been made public. He's got these secret bodyguards from a part of the military that many people didn't even know existed. And where he is, no one knows. It's just interesting that he hasn't said one word. His last tweet on social media was from a day ago. I was just looking. So he hasn't tweeted anything new since the ceasefire. He just wrote, the Iranian nation is not a nation that surrenders. So a lot of people in the region are wondering, is this a time when the Iranian resistance could rise up? You know, you've got a lot of Iranians all over the world who are hoping to get rid of this man, to get rid of this regime that has been so brutal to the people for decades and decades. Israel, in the final hours before the ceasefire, Nicole, you know, they were able to bomb for like 4 hours before the ceasefire went into effect. And one of the places that they targeted is a prison called Evin Prison in Iran. And it is a place where political prisoners were being held, people who were resistant against the regime. And we're learning that they actually bombed the gates of the prison. So they didn't bomb the prison itself, they bombed the gates with what appears to be the intention of freeing these political prisoners, people who are against the Iranian regime. That could have an impact. They also bombed the Revolutionary Guard units, which is the specific part of the military and the police in Iran that is responsible for stopping protesters in the country. That could also potentially have an impact. Time will only tell. But there is another side to this. Is it possible, with everything going on, that the Iranian regime strengthens its grip on the people in a way that we haven't seen before, strengthens its ties to our adversaries, places like North Korea and Russia, and becomes even more clamped down? Unfortunately, that's also a possibility, Nicole.
All right, and Brian, you are not far from the Strait of Hormuz. We've heard so much about Iran potentially shutting it down. What is the latest?
Yeah, there was a lot of concern about that initially, especially before the ceasefire, and that would just cripple the global economy. The good news is they haven't shut it down. There's no indication that they plan to shut it down, but there have been issues there. There's been what's known as GPS jamming, something that the shipping companies say they have noticed over the last several days that makes it very, very difficult for them to pass through the strait, especially in the most narrow area, which is only 21 miles across. Also, there's concern right now with shipping companies sending their ships through at night. So at this point, we're told about 20% of shipping through that area is down just while they continue to monitor the security concerns. But the strait overall continues to be open, and it doesn't seem like there's a plan to close it down anytime soon, which is very, very good news for the economy.
All right. Brian Inton live for us there in Qatar. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.